else I got going on in my brain. So obviously the setup looks a little different. Obviously my voice is a lot different, and that is because today we are doing a very special spooky ASMR video. I'm very excited. I've been planning this for a very long time, and honestly I'm very nervous, so please be patient with me if things kind of look weird or sound weird, but I am very excited to share with you some of my very favorite cryptid creatures from around the United States. So I thought that we could first start out with a little bit of tea, right? This is a very special cryptid mug that I got. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has like all the most iconic cryptids on it. It is adorable, and a lot of the products that I'm going to be having today and showing throughout the video are all on Etsy, all amazing. So I'm going to link all of those things down below. Make sure you get some creepy cryptid shit, because if you like anything about my channel, then you are going to love these Etsy creators. So make sure that you check them out. But yeah, so I couldn't decide what tea I wanted to use. I couldn't figure out where I put it. This is actually my partner's, and it's like a very fancy French tea. It's called Tea on the Nile, and it has like a fruity lemony flavor. I thought it would just kind of be yummy to have a little tea with our creepy cryptid video, right? So I'm gonna let that steep a while. It's so cold today. It feels so like nice and warm. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm setting that aside for now. All right. So let's get into our very first cryptid. I have this really cool cryptid card, like tarot card deck. It's so cool. Our first cryptid that we're going to be talking about today is, of course, the iconic Fresno Nightcrawler, right? And his little card says, travel, new experiences, exploration, and wandering, right? I don't know if it's going to focus. I think it's kind of blurry, but you can see his little legs. He's so cute. But yeah, so the Fresno Nightcrawler, right? So according to what we know about the Fresno Nightcrawler, it was of course first seen in Fresno, California in 2007 by a man only known as Jose. And he was able to capture this footage on his security cameras. He woke up to his dogs barking in the middle of the night, and he went to go check this security footage, and he saw these very strange creatures, right? And so he woke up his brother, and they both went outside, but there was no trace of anyone or anything, which is very strange. So let's talk about our little friend. And let me tell you, I got this in like a month ago, and I've just been staring at him. This is a very accurate representation of what the Fresno Nightcrawler looks like, right? He's got a little booty. He's got a thickums. I love him. Okay. So the Fresno Nightcrawler, from what we know about him, he stands at about 4 feet tall, and his legs all the way up, baby, all the way up, okay? And he has like a tiny little head, and they're almost featureless, and they seem to kind of glide along on their little legs, right? So I'll let him out of his little cranium so that we can see him more clearly. Oh my god. Isn't he the fucking cutest thing you've ever seen? He's so cute. I can't stop staring at him. Look at him. So cute. Okay. I'll put him back in his little home. Jose actually gave this footage to a TV network and a paranormal investigator whose name was Victor Commando. Mothman show, but neither source could understand or debunk the video. Another very famous video comes from 2011 at Yosemite National Park, where I'll show the video here, but you can actually see a bigger nightcrawler and a smaller one kind of walking down a hill. And this footage is very interesting to me. I like it a lot. It's really hard to debunk it, and people have definitely tried. And of course, there are many skeptics on this topic. There was actually a show on the Sci-Fi Network called Fact or Fiction, and they said it would be very difficult to fake something like this. So, in conclusion, the Fresno Nightcrawler is my favorite cryptid, and he is 100% real, and you cannot convince me otherwise. So the tea is ready to rumble. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's some good shit. Yeah, but this mug is really cool. I think there's actually, the Fresno Nightcrawler is actually on my mug, which is sick. We're going to be moving right along to one of my other favorite cryptids, and that is the Hopkinsville Goblin. I really wish that these would focus. I think maybe I got it. But this card reads that the Hopkinsville Goblins have friendship, sharing, conversation, and reaching out. On August 21st of 1955, the Sutton family were out doing their regular thing on their farm in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And one family member was actually getting water from the well when they saw something extremely strange. They saw a bright white light flutter across the sky and kind of disappear off into the distance. And this family member claimed that the streak across the sky, it kind of stayed and hovered in midair. It was shiny and almost metallic looking before it suddenly dropped out of the sky. And then all hell broke loose. These little tiny creatures began appearing in all of the windows of the Sutton house. The Sutton family quickly became scared that their farmland and their house was being taken over by these unidentified people. And so they did the only thing they really knew how to do. They defended their land. So the Sutton family is like, they're like trying to kill all of these little creatures. They claimed that every time they shot one of these creatures, it left behind this green luminescent glow on the ground. After 4 hours of them trying to defend their home, the Sutton family called the police and they rushed to the scene. But by that point, all of the creatures had disappeared. Their only evidence was the bullet holes that were left in the siding of the house and in the doors and in the windows. But other than that, they couldn't find any evidence of any creatures being at the Sutton family home. And the family reported that these creatures looked very, very strange. They were only 3 to 4 feet tall. They had very slender arms and legs, pointy fingers, and pointy ears, glowing yellow eyes, and they almost had this metallic-y glow to them. It was unlike anything that anyone had ever heard of before. So, after taking down all of this evidence, the police, they couldn't really do anything, right? Like, there was nobody to arrest. The family was claiming that it was these creatures. So, the police left, and skeptics and believers alike began pouring to the Sutton family home, trying to catch a glimpse of these creatures. There are many differing ideas. Some people think that this story is real, others think it's fake. Some people believe that the Sutton family members' stories line up so perfectly that it has to be true. Others think that they were all intoxicated and just, I guess, had sort of a mass hallucination of the whole event. But I think the most convincing theory is that the family was just seeing great horned owls, which sounds crazy, but it actually kind of makes sense. These owls are huge, like they can be up to 3 to 4 feet. They obviously have pointy ears, glowing yellow eyes, and they can look scary, and they will defend themselves and their offspring if push comes to shove. meteor showers in the area on that night of August 21st. So it's believed that one of the family members that saw that streak across the sky was probably just seeing a meteor. And the luminescent glow that was seen after shooting the creatures can actually be pinpointed to a luminescent mushroom called foxfire, which I didn't even know existed, but that's crazy. Whether you think that story is fact or fiction, the Hopkinsville Goblins are a pretty famous cryptid, and it just makes for a good story. They have my heart. Okay, it's time for our last cryptid, and of course, I had to talk about our Lord and Savior Mothman, right? So here is this little card. Oh my god, I love these cards, right? Like, listen to this one. This one's so good. So it says, surprise, something breaking, consequences, and tension. Is that not perfect for Mothman? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I also just have to show you guys. You can't really see them very well, but I have little moth earrings for our little friend Mothman. Little moth earrings. So let's get into some Mothman lore, right? So evidently he was first spotted by a couple of grave diggers just outside of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, about an hour away. But the first official sighting happened on November 16th of 1966. These two couples were driving down Route 62 in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Their names were Roger and Linda and Steve and Mary. They were driving past the old National Guard Armory when they saw the boy, and they described him as being about 6 to 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes and a very large wingspan. And Roger, who was driving, he was kind of like, what is that? Right? And then Mothman started to chase them, and so Roger floored it all the way into town, and they rushed to the police office being like, yo, we don't know what we saw, but he almost outran our car. Like, can you imagine seeing a large bird-like creature just chasing your car and almost chasing you down in a car? And we know that news spreads very fast in a little town like Point Pleasant. So the following day, multiple newspapers had reported the Mothman incident, and then within the following year, 26 different incidents were reported. And just kind of weird things were happening in the town. There were more UFO encounters than usual. There were some weird electronic interferences. And one guy even had his dog stolen by Mothman. Evidently Mothman just swooped down with his big old wings and picked up this dog. Bad boy, Mothman. Bad boy, okay? We don't do that. It seems like it was kind of a mixed bag. Some people thought that Mothman was the real deal and were kind of scared of him and what he could do. But other people kind of saw it as a fun-loving little guy, you know? People thought that he lived in the old abandoned armory outside of Point Pleasant. But either way, all of this kind of came to a head on December 15th of 1967 when the Silver Bridge collapsed. So this was a very popular and well-traveled bridge that connected Ohio to Point Pleasant. And that day on December 15th, during rush hour, it collapsed. And it unfortunately took the lives of 46 people and injured countless others. So it was found that there was a single crack in the bridge, and over time, it went unnoticed, and then all of a sudden it just caused the whole thing to collapse. And how this all relates to Mothman is that evidently some people actually saw our little boy Mothman flying over Silver Bridge right before it collapsed. So again, some people took it as a bad omen, that he was actually the cause of the bridge's collapse, while others saw it as kind of, he was warning people, and he was trying to tell them hey, I can see the future, and you better get off this bridge before it collapses. Often Mothman is connected with Silver Bridge as well, because because after this point, he kind of went out of the public eye. He wasn't seen. There were no reports. But in 2019, there were multiple reports of Mothman in Chicago, which is kind of weird, but like, okay, there are many different theories about what Mothman could be, right? So a lot of people think that he's just a bird of some kind. So one option is the barred owl, and that is because barred owls have these kind of like red glowing eyes when the light shines upon them, right? Another option is the sandhill crane. This one's probably the most popular, and that's because they can be 3 to 4 feet tall, and they have a large wingspan up to 6 feet. So people are like, yeah, that's not a Mothman, that is a sandhill crane. And to that I say, 3 to 4 feet is a lot different than 6 to 7 feet, right? Like, Mothman is known to be a tall, beefy boy, right? And I don't think a sandhill crane could really do that. But what do I know? I'm not a bird expert. And I completely forgot about this, but I actually have this Mothman pin. I don't know why I'm obsessed with tarot cards. I have a tarot card tattoo, but like, I'm obsessed with these tarot cryptid. You can't even see it. You can't even see it. Just know that it is a Mothman little enamel pin. It's so cute. It says the moon on it. If you're an enthusiast of Mothman, then you probably know that Point Pleasant has basically made Mothman their mascot. Like, if you like Mothman, Point Pleasant is the place to be. They have shops, museums, restaurants, all themed around Mothman, and there's even an annual Mothman Fest, and it's in September. But yeah, not only that, but there are like countless sources of Mothman media, including a movie called Mothman Prophecies from 1975. It's a book. They made it into a movie. There are lots of different things that are Mothman related. There's even a BuzzFeed Unsolved supernatural episode about Mothman, where Shane and Ryan, they go and they explore Point Pleasant and they search for Mothman. It's a treat if you like Mothman, and highly suggested. That is all the creepy cryptids I wanted to talk about today. I am glad you stuck around until the end of the video. That makes me very happy if you're here. I love you. I don't know if anybody actually sticks around for the end of the videos. So if you're here, I appreciate you and I love you. If you guys like this concept, this idea, if you guys like ASMR, you want me to do more, I can. I don't have a great setup for it. You can probably see my light and camera angles change a little bit because I don't have the proper setup for this, and this mic stand, that's not actually a mic stand, but we prevail. And so if you like this type of content, let me know. I tried my best to kind of incorporate ASMR sounds, like to give the tingles, but also it's hard when you're talking and trying to like remember facts about stories, you know. But I did the best I could with the resources and information that I had. So yeah, I also have all of these. If you don't like the ASMR and you just like the cryptid talk, I have this entire deck of tarot cards that some of the shit I've like literally never heard of. Like there's like Chupacabra, like everybody knows Chupacabra, but then there's like, oh, Bigfoot's really cute. Of course, now I'm turning to every card that I know. Like the Shluha. I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is, but it sounds scary. So if you guys just want like more cryptids, I can definitely do that. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Actually, I love cryptids, but it didn't seem right to just like make a random video about it. So here we are. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. love you to